Bum, 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 bum. It's time for the show to start. It's time to start the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the SketchCraft podcast. I'm Rob Duenas, graphic artist Esquire, and if you are joining in for the very first time, then you're not a bot, because we only have bots here, if you didn't already know. You should also know that here on the SketchCraft podcast, this is about the time that I tend to rant about art, movie, comic related news stuff. Basically, I get to be a fan. Like, instead of just solely streaming my art, this is where I get to basically just look at stuff as a fan and talk about stuff as a fan. And to join me into doing this would be Lead Heavy Mega Potato James. Say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Awesome. Also joining in to be a fan is the comic vocalist, Darth Bradley.
The comic vocalist. Wow.
I gotta figure something out for you. I'm thinking about changing your picture to Cartman, but I'm gonna keep
that would be super fucking sweet.
I like Rad Brad. No.
I'm so glad we don't let Brandon write the jokes here on the SketchCraft podcast. I'm glad I made that decision. Yeah, that's paying off.
Radley Bradley.
That's paying off in spades. So, all right, very quickly, artist updates. Let me just give you a quick update what I've been up to. Working on IDW, Transformers First Strike, cover 6. It's taking me way too fucking long. Not done yet. That's my update. Brandon, how about you? Anything else? Anything you've been doing?
I'm kicking butt. By kicking butt, I mean drowning myself and trying to make some really awesome commissions for 2 people, which I'm glad they commissioned me, but I'm also pushing myself and trying to give them some good stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's code for Brandon can't draw Mega Man. All right, let's move right along.
That is true. That is
very quickly, I like to pimp the artist news first. We have Artist Alley. Let me bring up
That's messed up. You didn't even ask me what I'm doing artist-wise, but it's cool.
Right. All right, Darth Bradley, what are you up to?
Actually, since I am now left-handed, I took some advice from a really good friend, and I am trying to learn how to paint left-handed. I'm also sketching left-handed. I'm actually much better, I think, at this stage than I was with my right hand.
Oh, that's actually good to hear. People don't know, Rich. Yeah. You willing to talk about that? You had a medical condition about a year and a half ago.
2.5 years ago.
2.5 years.
Almost 3 now. I had a stroke and I was paralyzed on the right side of my body. I was right-handed before, and now I'm not. I'm left-handed. So.
And you've been training yourself to learn how to draw. The question I have is, can you outdraw Brandon with your left hand before he can learn to draw with his right? That's the question.
I've seen Brandon's art. It's why are you so hard on him?
Why am I so hard on him? Do you understand this is entertainment for me? That's because it makes me laugh.
Potato. Why don't you come back, man? Come back to that. You need to come back on him, dude.
I need his help. So
I dare
until the day I don't need Rob's help, that's when I can talk shit. When I'm good enough to be on my own, which will be never, then I will talk shit. I'll just wait till Rob can't draw and help me anymore. When we're really old, he'll probably outlive me, so it'll probably be on my deathbed. I'll talk some shit.
I dare you to give
fuck you, Rob.
I dare you, Brandon, to give me a timeline. You know,
he'll be at your funeral. Well, Mr. Potato Head was a mighty good artist.
That's exactly, yes.
So glad we did the artist update. So let's move right along to Artist Alley, where we like to talk about artists that we've been following. Brandon, who's Ghost House?
Oh, okay. So he's, I believe he's a Texas artist, but I could be wrong. But I really like his style. It reminds me of like Creature Box mixed with like kind of a 3D element. You know, he's got real good shapes. Been following him for a year or two. Just some really unique stuff. That's about it. Eventually I'd like to get a commission from him if I ever have any money. But I just like the style, the shapes, just a little extra stuff he puts in there that really makes things pop out. So that's about it. I like his stuff. You know, it's got a real cool, unique animated style, but he knows how to pump up the shapes like the chin, the hair, the nose and stuff to really make it not so flat like you see maybe with a lot of style like this. So.
I like the Quark and Kira here. I like it. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Javis a little bit. Got a little bit of that going on there. The 3D. Yeah. Good stuff. Rich, any thoughts?
So
he's like, we want your women.
That's exactly it. Yeah. He's talking about Quark.
I'm talking about Yeah.
Click on the Vegeta there. Yeah.
I really dig
Z1,
this guy's art.
Top,
I mean,
top stuff. Second line.
All right.
Big
his art
big
is
back
very
there.
popping.
He's next to, keep going to the top. He's next to Hellboy. There you go. Yeah. Stuff like that. I like where you could tell he knows how the piece on the ear, I forgot the name of it. It's been a while since I watched Dragon Ball Z, but like it really wraps around the head and it's got the 3D shape to the box. So someone like me might draw that really flat as to where you could tell that has a nice three-dimensional shape to it.
So what you are saying is he understands depth perception on a 2D image.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Potato Head, for your in-depth articulation.
Oh, there's two of Robs. There's two Robs. There's German Rob and there's regular Rob.
That's not me, Brandon. That's the town.
So yes, this is a Ghost House, and I'm a fan. So you could find his stuff on Instagram. I'll put a link in the box below. You can find him on Instagram, DeviantArt, Twitter, all that at Ghost House, Hause House. So.
Yeah, I like his art. It looks like it fits in a Tim Schafer game to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be cool if he did. If he drew like a Full Throttle, right? Like a bin. That'd be dope, right? Pretty art. So that's artist of the week right there. We got there. Ghost House. Links will be in the info box below, so don't worry about that if you want to check out more from Ghost House. Then that's what we'll do. Moving right along. Let's see what else we got up here. Internet news stuff. So let me key up the little bar here. Internet news. Boom. Is that you, Brandon?
Nope.
Is that you, Rich, typing?
Yeah, somebody asked about what kind of debauchery was I going through in order to have a stroke at such a young age, so I was responding.
Young is a bit of a stretch.
You know, you can mention that here, right?
36,
you can just talk.
36 is young. Yeah, but you were talking to Brandon, Mr. Potato Head. So, yeah.
All right, so internet news stuff. Let's talk some internet news. Oh, what a fucking day. Let's just start with the latest in nonsense, right? Colin Trevorrow, is that what it is? Is it Trevorrow? Is that how you pronounce it?
Trevorrow.
Rich, why don't you explain what happened today?
He got fired from episode 9, and I am so glad.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. He's got one good movie under his belt. I just don't think he's Star Wars caliber.
And you're talking about that
Jurassic World. That's what I'm talking. None of his other films appeal to me, man.
You could say that's contentious at best, right? Like,
but no, I'm okay. I put it in my notes as one mediocre movie, like one decent film under his belt. One decent film. It's a decent film. It's not great. I enjoyed it. My kids love it. But honestly, I just don't feel that he's, he had an issue with Kennedy, dude. Kennedy had Kathleen Kennedy had like this fucking, I don't know, dude. It's like she has a hate on for any directors of Star Wars films. It has to be perfect. It's something we've talked about before. It's, why do they have to, and it goes into another topic you want to cover tonight.
No, let's just stick to this one.
But why why does she feel, and I think the underlying thing is they want it to make billions of fucking dollars, and they don't think they're trying to find the right fit for their multi-billion-dollar movie.
So you're wondering why does she feel the movie needs to be good?
No, not good. Just
Because it can't be average, because it's Star Wars. Because they made an average Star Wars movie,
not a,
which was Episode 3, is an average Star Wars movie. Episode 2 is fucking horrible.
I'm saying above. It can be above average. It doesn't, but it doesn't have to be this epic. It's always fucking epic. Have you seen the new? Oh, it doesn't matter.
I don't know if it needs to be epic. I just think he had a look here. Here's how it works.
Have you seen Snoke's super fucking giant Star Destroyer? I mean,
no, because it's not in any
movies...
trailer. Hold on, I want to break this down. You're jumping all over the place. Let me steer the ship a little bit, Rich. So,
but it all pertains to the same topic. It's basic. What it boils down to is none of the directors that they've chosen so far seem to have the vision they want. They need a higher caliber director.
So we'll tackle this one at a time. One. Are there any directors that seem to have a vision that they're seeing through? Yeah, they've had two with no problems. J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson. There were no major reshoots on The Force Awakens. There's been nothing but praise for Rian Johnson's work. The Rogue One had some issues, and they fixed it. I would love to have heard back in 1997. Remember in 1997 or 8, Rich, when there was that fucking rumor going around the internet that the footage from The Phantom Menace was wobbly, and they had to go and reshoot, or something that was unusable, which turned out to be bullshit. But wouldn't it be great to hear that George Lucas saw a cut of The Phantom Menace and went, I need to go back and reshoot 30% of the movie to fucking fix it. That would have been amazing to hear. So that's just something that's happening here. Now, granted, they did it on Rogue One. Turned out, in my opinion, in the movie's favor, because fucking it's like my second favorite Star Wars film ever. That's just how I feel. 2, have they had to switch directors on this Han Solo movie? Yeah, but they gave them an option to fix their movie, and they decided no. So when you write a script, when someone writes a script and says direct this, and you're like, I will direct it, and then you go and turn that into something they don't want, that's what happened on that film. I think on this one, the news broke that Colin Trevorrow was going to direct Episode 9 back in 2014 or 15. 14. Humberto Gonzalez broke that. That was a big deal for him. And I remember the internet going, no, well, It's not exciting, So I've been waiting for this to sort of happen for a while now, ever since. Have any of you, Brandon, have you seen or even heard of the Book of Henry?
Never.
It's this movie that Colin just put out, and it's not good. It's trying to be like an Amblin film, and it has a really good poster. I need to dig that up. It has a really cool Struzan style poster, but it's not good. I think that better they get in front of this now. Now, who will take over Episode 9? Hey, man, if it's Rian Johnson, great. If it's Tony Gilroy, the guy who saved Rogue One, then even better. I'm all for that. No problems there. Check this poster out for the Book of Henry. This is the best thing about the Book of Henry. Look at that. Struzan style poster. How cool is that poster? Why can't Star Wars have a poster that looks like that? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Struzan style.
Like the
oh look, it's Anakin.
Shh. Shh. These goggles look way more believable than the bullshit fucking goggles Anakin wore in that movie. But this movie is not. It's not good. Great poster, by the way. So, I mean, here's the thing, folks. Making Star Wars movies has never been easy, except for 4 times. Return of the Jedi and the 3 prequels. Before that, it was always hectic. Go look at the making of Empire Strikes Back with the endless script rewrites, and then Kirshner coming on board, and Kirshner and Gary Kurtz, the producer, and a lockdown battle with Lucas over the control of the movie, and Kasdan siding, or trying not to side with Lucas or Kirshner. You ever wonder why Ivan Kirshner, the director of Empire Strikes Back, never came back to direct Return of the Jedi? He was Lucas's, one of his teachers in college. one of his film
Oh.
professors. Lucas
I wonder
hired
that
him.
all the time.
Yeah, Lucas hired him because he respected him and he taught him. And then Lucas felt he didn't have control, and that they over Empire Strikes Back, and that they ran over budget and they took too long, and it could have been done for less money in half the time. And that's exactly how Return of the Jedi got made.
I don't know. I like Return of the Jedi, really.
But we both know, Rich, it could have been a much grander film.
so
you know,
could
you-
episode 1 and 2. But
Well, Lucas,
what do we get?
There you go. So I like to see that they're
But
trying.
the difference is Return of the Jedi is about 100 times fucking better than episode 1 or 2 and 3.
Yeah, because he wasn't. This is pre Howard the Duck. This is pre Radioland Mystery. You know what I mean? So he was still.
You're just a fucking Empire Strikes Back fanboy, dude. Oh, God.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I am a fanboy or I'm not a fanboy.
You are the Empire Strikes Back quintessential fanboy.
I don't know what you're talking about. How am I a fanboy if I don't think it's as good as Empire?
No, I'm saying... Oh, my God. Are you not hearing me? Is my mic broken? Potato Head, did you hear me?
Yeah, I'm not. I can't follow you sometimes. Explain. Explain.
You are the Empire Strikes Back fanboy.
Okay, you said
Rob.
Return of the Jedi, so I just was. Just
No,
wanna clarify.
Empire
But you-
Strikes Back.
Okay, you meant yeah.
Return of the Jedi sucked.
No, it didn't.
No,
it was
no,
great.
no,
It's
it doesn't
better
suck.
than Empire.
But is it as good as Empire?
I just wanted to say it. I just wanted to say it.
No. And does it look as good? No. Kirshner added a
Yeah,
lot.
you're and Potato Head's like, oh, Batman, a Batfleck is the best Batfleck, but he's out. So I mean,
Wow.
Hurts.
It's not
Hurts.
whataboutisms, Rich. We're just gonna stay on target. So so here's the thing. Colin gets let go. Now, Rich, aside from all that, if you had to pick someone to follow up on episode 9, would you stick with Ryan Johnson if you had that choice? Would you go with someone new? Rich?
So you're asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
You want me to say get the director to Rogue One on?
Garrett.
On
No, I
episode
didn't.
9.
I want to know what you actually think. I am not leading any questions. Like, what do you think?
I don't know. Let's get Ron Howard.
He's currently filming a movie. He's a little busy.
I know. He's a little busy right now. Actually, they're saying that the Solo movie's in trouble because of no director for episode 9. But I don't know. Yes, I could see him directing episode 9 as long as I don't know why they don't just get JJ back. He did a fine job on episode, on I don't know. I think Abrams was fine. Yeah, let's get Michael Bay. No.
We'll have the droids just urinating on each other. Well, we actually had that, right? I think that actually heard.
Right, no, yeah.
R2Ps in episode 3,
Yeah.
right? Squirts out all that oil and lights it on fire.
Oil.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, we're just kidding about the Michael Bay, man. Just kidding about the Michael Bay.
Next.
Brandon, your thoughts?
I don't care. I'll watch it. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I liked Rogue One, and I liked the one before that with J.J. Abrams directed, just because Kylo Ren looked like a badass, and it made me like Star Wars. Before that, I never really cared. I thought the idea of Star Wars, the whole samurai in space kind of look, was pretty badass. But there's a lot of things that are just like Return of the Jedi, like the Ewoks and shit, and the cute little cuddly stuff. I don't really care about, but like lightsabers, cool space scenes, stuff like that, I like. So the last 2 Star Wars movies I really liked. I liked Rogue One a lot because it had like action adventure, and it was very grounded for being a space movie. You felt like you were down there in the trenches with these guys. So I thought that was dope. But in the one before that, I really liked J.J. Abrams' look. Everything looked amazing. Kylo Ren looked like a badass. It was just cool. Rey was awesome. Before that, I never was like, oh, I love Star Wars. That's not really my cup of tea, but I liked things about it. So
hold on.
with
Let me cut you off for a second. People are talking about Disney's ruining Star Wars or some shit. Like, I gotta stop you guys on this one, right? Like, I gotta say my 2 cents on it because, if they weren't committed to making a good movie and just wanted to make a Beauty and the Beast style fucking schlock whatever film, they would just put out whatever and say it's Star Wars. I don't get this. I don't understand. You know, like, I've worked on the prequels in terms of merchandising, folks. I've worked on that stuff. You know, and there's a significant difference in Lucasfilm from then and when Disney bought them. And they didn't give... Disney put the fucking kibosh on Vader being on a roller coaster on a t-shirt holding kittens. Lucasfilm didn't care. You guys got to understand, like, how badly they allowed the jokes to go with Star Wars. Like, it's fun to have a Star Wars joke, right? Where, you know, you're giggling in theater when the Emperor goes, "You want this, don't you?" It's funny. But, guys, you don't understand how badly the fucking Vader holding kittens and stormtroopers riding roller coasters really did. And what those prequels did. Like, I know there've been millennials out there. They seem to fucking love the prequels. But they don't spend the money on anything. They don't. The fucking thing was dead. Was dragged into a room in 2012 and it said, "How can you guys save this?" And I said, "It's impossible. They got to make a new movie. And if they did, it wouldn't come out till at least 2015. They need to sell this back." You know, like, so it's just ridiculous. They just want to make the best movie they can make. And if you don't believe that, then don't believe it. But that's what they're trying to do. You don't replace people and fix things because, like, you think, you know, it's good enough. If they just thought the license was good enough to carry the film, then they would just put out whatever. There'd be no problem.
Yeah, they'd put out anything.
Yeah, like the God.
Yeah,
look, no offense, the Godzilla movie and the fucking King Kong movie needed a third act rewrite. Am I right, guys? Am I right?
Oh, totally.
Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, Rich. What were you gonna say?
Well, as far as Lucasfilm goes, with George having ultimate control over everything, his best films were made when he was so high on mushrooms and pot that he couldn't fucking think straight. Okay, as soon as he got fucking cleaned up and got kids, he started making fucking Star Wars for kids, and that's what Episode 1 was, and Episode 2 was for the teenagers.
Well, I'd go far back as
3...
saying the Ewok Adventures started that. Like, you got a little bit of it in Jedi, but the Ewok Adventures were pretty fucking horrible.
Look, Lucas couldn't fucking direct his way out of a goddamn wet paper bag, period. Dude, he lost vision as soon as he turned like fucking 42 and stopped smoking pot.
Hold on, Armando says Disney's
Just
too restrictive. Hold on, Armando says Disney's too restrictive when it comes to their franchises. Where?
Dude,
how are
they had people fucking dying.
Yeah. They killed the entire cast in Rogue One. How are they restrictive?
Like everybody. They just fucking blew them up like with basically a weapon of mass destruction. Like
you
they
know
were
what it
doing
is, man?
Hitler.
The internet is like the internet is a giant echo chamber, you know? So the internet says something and then we all say it and we tend to agree with it. You know, the first time I saw this happen was when and I hate this phrase, I hate it. It's not my words, the internet's. It's George Lucas raped my childhood. I hate that shit. You know, I didn't think Episode 1 was the best fucking movie, you know, of that year by a long shot. I mean, I like The Mummy and The Matrix better. But that was ridiculous. But that's the fucking mentality that just carries across the current on the internet. And that's bullshit, you know? That's fucking horrible. They're not too restrictive. But you do have an expectation. When you say I'm going to go to the Star Wars movie, you expect the best fucking effort you can expect. So when we see an episode, an Attack of the Clones, when you're like, really? I wish, you know, the sand, it's coarse. I wish I could wish my feelings away. Like, you're like, that's the best you can do? You know? With this?
That's Lucas directing, dude.
And writing.
That's Lucas's directing.
And I've heard people say they should bring Lucas back to direct this. I'm like, are you out your fucking mind? Like, for real, dude? You know, so there's just no proof of that. Other than you're like, oh, Disney what? They wouldn't let what's his face? Brandon, the director, Edgar Wright direct Ant-Man.
Yeah.
He backed out.
Because he wanted to
They were willing to let him direct it. He backed out. Now, that's just, I mean, I've worked with this company and I can tell you, man, are they restrictive? Yeah. You want to know why they're restrictive? Because they're restrictive in that they don't want the integrity of the characters to get mishandled. Okay? Now, can that be taken overboard where it becomes generic? Absolutely. You got to be very careful with that. But I'm not seeing that in the films. It's them pushing it forward. Long as your main characters have the risk of death, I feel that's important to any story. How so? The Incredibles. The Incredibles is one of my, if not my top third favorite superhero movie of all time. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Everyone can die in that film. Everyone can die in The Incredibles. It was the CG movie that made humans look like you could actually look at the human characters and not barf. You know?
Right.
And like everyone has copied The Incredibles look since. And it's the best Fantastic Four movie never made. That being said, anyone can die in that film. If you wear a cape, you can die. If you don't run fast enough, that guy with the giant buzzsaw could kill you, you can die. People can die in that film. Disney made that 2004. You know? So Disney used to make films in which Pinocchio's a dark fucking film.
Look, Tarzan. All I got to say is Tarzan.
Right.
Tarzan's a fairly dark
If you
film,
want to
man.
say what's movie studios unwilling to kill characters even permanently, it's Marvel. And you're like, that's Disney. It's not the same thing, guys. Here you have Disney, and then under each one of those things is a subsidiary, and they're all ran by a different CEO. And those CEOs hold the vision for that. And that CEO checks in with the head of Disney. That's how it works.
Isn't
I
that
suggest,
Mark Silvestri?
I really suggest, if you want to know how it kind of works now, you should go read a book or listen to an audiobook called Disney War, which is about Disney's transformation when they got bought out by, they got took over by Michael Eisner, and all the way up until when Eisner got thrown out. I highly recommend that book if you'd like to kind of get an inner feeling about how that works. But look, I'm not a Star Wars fucking Rich. You know I used to worship this. We grew up together. I used to worship Star Wars, guys, like in a way that is borderline. It's religious. Before it was popular, right? No one was making podcasts and fucking streaming them playing role-playing games with Star Wars when we were kids. We were clowned and laughed at, you know, for even liking it, because that shit was old, motherfucker. I fell out of love. Rich watched me go from being a convert to a fuck that shit, you know? Let it burn in hell! I even told Richard, Lord of the Rings
Rob was the
destroyed
Rob
Star
was the
Wars.
Obi-Wan, dude.
Yeah.
He was like Obi-Wan. He was the failed Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
He lost his way.
I went out to the desert, you know? When I bought my
He
first big
ceased to be
screen...
Rob Duenas, and he became Darth Duenas.
When I bought my first big screen TV, I took Rich down to the Circuit City I got this thing from. It's 2005, right? And because I wanted your opinion on this TV, and Revenge of the Sith had just come out, and so they're showing it on all the screens, and we were just sitting there having like 3-hour conversation about how I just couldn't fucking take it anymore, you know. And Addy Wan helped me kind of like, you know, like episode, you know, the original trilogy more again. And then The Force Awakens, you know, not perfect, but fucking, I would have gladly have taken that film at any point in my life. And I just don't understand this internet. I think maybe it's because we're just hyper-focusing all the fucking time, rather than talking about
it's
actual
not
opinions.
because of that, dude. It's literally because it's popular
Well,
nowadays to fucking dislike something that everybody likes and like something everybody dislikes, to be juxtaposed.
Contrarianism.
It's pop. Yeah. Exactly.
So
To be contrary on purpose is
Now-
literally...
now, to be negative, I personally have not been a fan of the Episode 8 marketing. And when I say not a fan, I'm telling you, it's bad for Disney, what they're doing. Like, they're not showing you trailers because they don't want to spoil the movie too early, which is great for us. Downside, you can't release a bunch of fucking toys for a bunch of characters and ships that we've never seen even in one movie trailer or one spot. There's no context for that. It's ridiculous. So they should have dropped the trailer Thursday night and then release toys, because this shit's going to sit on a shelf for a month before they finally realize that they got to actually market their fucking film.
Well, when you're marketing, it's very contextual. You have to market for the people and then for the children.
I don't know what you're talking about, but that does well. All right, let's move on from this. Thor on Thor Ragnarok looks amazing. We'll get to that later. So, Brandon, you have an opinion. Switch gears from Star Wars to Batman. Let's talk a little bit.
So, kind of, it works well with this. I want to know why it's so hard for studios, producers, companies to source material in comic book, sci-fi type movies. A good example is Zack Snyder made The Watchmen, and he made it almost panel per panel from the actual graphic novel. But then when it came down to him making Batman vs. Superman, he veered way off and just mixed different storylines, things of his own, random shit. So I just want to know why some companies or producers try to stick with the main source material and some just go way off in La La Land and think they could just do their own thing.
That's a giant question, Brandon.
That is a giant question. Why is it so hard to stay to source material in comic book movies, Rob?
Well, because they rely upon how many years of backstory for you to get anything. It's not contextual. Like, The Watchmen was a limited 12-issue series. It had a beginning and an end. So adapting a book into a movie is one thing. To adapt a giant comic book company spanning storyline that involves dozens of characters and set against a post-Napoleonic era involving 1,000 characters. Look, a movie that did this really well, to quote that phrase, is the first Turtles movie. That's an adaptation of a small storyline from the Mirage Studio Comics where Shredder returns and kicks their fucking ass and they have to go out to the farm and then come back. And then it also blends in the origin story of the Turtles and then adds in some movie stuff. And it works. Right. BVS, there's no limited series called Batman v Superman that it adapted. It uses The Dark Knight Returns as a basis for its storyline and then doesn't. Right. Other than Batman fights Superman, it doesn't. Had it been set in a world in which Batman had been retired, quit being Batman for a minimum of 10 years, maybe 20, and the whole world's gone to shit, and he comes out of retirement to kill Superman, then it would have some basis. But even then, his point in Batman in The Dark Knight Returns had nothing to do with Superman. He was coming back to just continue his war on crime, and Superman happened to be an agent of the government. And so they had some rule in that universe that said that all the metahumans and the superheroes or whatever, before they had the term for metahuman, quit. They had a deal that they wouldn't do it anymore. And Bruce is breaking the deal. So it just didn't do a good job of world building, BVS, you know? Like the Civil War movie that came out. You can't just adapt Civil War page for page into a movie unless you're going to spend 100 hours.
But they stuck with the core idea that it's Captain America's team versus Iron Man's team, two sides of a coin. They're both right in their own ways, but they see it from two different point of views, and they clash. And that was the main thing about Civil War.
Are you asking why Zack Snyder is not the greatest story guy?
It's not just Zack Snyder. I mean, there's no story of that. That's a music video. But it just, like the Fantastic Four movies that came out, where Doctor Doom's some weird telekinesis brain exploder guy. No, I get that. It's just I'm saying a lot of these studios have great stories that have sold out. Great stories from different comic books that they can adapt from, but they just veer off so far from it. I just don't get it. I don't understand. If you have something that's
I can address this. There is a history of comic movies, especially if you look at the 90s, that just kind of go off and do their own thing and use the comic book as like a license. If you want to see something more recent, I suggest you watch a show called The Inhumans. That'd be a really good example of that.
I don't want to watch it.
The historical context for this is that there's things called intellectual property rights and points. Really, it's intellectual property points. What that means is if I come up with a version of Batman that has a black rubber suit and a unique origin in which the Joker killed his parents, and it has a certain actor's likeness, a certain design to everything, then that means anytime that version of that Batman appears in something, I, as the producer, get intellectual property points, money for that version. That's why you constantly... So what they'll do is they'll take something of this, something of that, and kind of do their own thing with it so that they can also get intellectual property points. And the deal, whatever, it's usually the producers that do that, and they get paid. Now, a lesser extent of this would be John Peters on The Man of Steel, where he had no influence whatsoever, but because he was technically still owned the production rights to Superman, crazy how that worked out, he made $30 million and didn't do jack shit. A lesser example would be something like the Fantastic Four, where you get this unique version of the Fantastic Four that, although is the four characters doing stuff, it's their own version of it. Anytime, if that movie had been successful, anytime that version of those characters with their kinds of suits and their kinds of likenesses appeared somewhere, then the producers would have made off with a lot of money. So that's why that happens. The reason why Marvel Studios tends to be unique among the rest is they don't have to worry about that. Or when I say worry, they don't have the incentive to take advantage of that to get rich quick. They can just do what's best by the character because they're going to see all of the points no matter what, because they're doing they self-finance their own films and they own their property. So that's how that works out. The crazy part is when Warner Brothers makes something like Suicide Squad and they own the production rights. They're producing it themselves, not someone else through Warner's. Like the original Superman movie was the Salkinds. They actually own the production rights to Superman, and then they made the movie and Warner's distributed it. That's how it worked.
Mm-hmm.
What kills me is when someone makes Suicide Squad and they put tattoos all over the Joker for no fucking reason. Like, you don't have to do that. So, like, I don't, you know what I mean? It's weird. That's weird.
It's actually Tim Drake. It's really Robin.
Is that Arnold? Is
you know what? You know what? I do believe. Okay, just the conspiracy theory type shit. I really believe, from what I've seen, read, heard, I believe that's Tim Drake. I really do.
Joker's not that fucking gay, dude. He's not that fucking gay.
Terminology,
dude. I'm sorry. You may not like the terminology, but I don't think Leto's a good Joker anyway.
Right. I mean, yeah. Well, I think he
sucks for Brandon because he has a giant tattoo of him.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't mind. I like it. I took the tattoos off though. I do think it's Tim Drake, and I do like besides the tattoos, I like his look. I thought he was cool. It reminded me of like Capullo and Jim Lee's like, Joker from All Star. But anyways,
well, you won't know because neither movie explored what actually happened to Robin.
Right, we may never. So I mean, like a lot of things, I like it. I don't have to like every part of a story to like a look of something. So, I mean, there's just things I like. But
is there anything you want to add, Rich, about source material? Does a movie need to be 100% accurate to a comic?
Okay, look, you make a good point, and the whole intellectual property bullshit, I don't care about that. I agree with Brandon in the sense that it would be nice to see a film of comic book caliber. But the problem is comic books are a very niche market. I mean, they're getting bigger, but they don't translate well to movies most of the time. The biggest example I can have is, I don't know if you've seen the new Ghost in the Shell film. I enjoyed it. Yeah. I just watched Ghost in the Shell, the anime again, before I watched it again. And there's a YouTuber that he's Japanese, and a Japanese American, and he went to Japan and asked Japanese people what they thought of Scarlett Johansson as the main character, and they were all jazzed about it because they said anime is up to interpretation. All movies and all intellectual properties are up to interpretation. So when you see Joel Schumacher's Batman bouncing around with bat nipples, that's his interpretation of Batman. While it is a little more flamboyant and not the Batman, the Dark Knight as we want to know him, like, for example, Ben Affleck's Batman versus Superman, which was fucking
I think we
epic.
need to distinguish between casting and adaptations. Adapting Akira, the manga, a 6-volume series into a 2-hour film, is not the same as casting Akira as Japanese.
First of all, it is exactly the same. It's exactly the same.
It's not quite the same thing.
No, but you're talking about adapting an anime that's 6 hours versus adapting something that's been around since the 50s.
I'm talking about adapting the story versus casting a film, Rich. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's a slightly different scenario. So Scarlett Johansson being cast as the major... Hold on. Scarlett Johansson being cast as the major is one thing. Adapting the manga Ghost in the Shell into a singular movie is a separate issue altogether. And whether that story should be 100% faithful to the one that was in the manga or it should be a limited version of that is a separate conversation.
The principal concept is exactly the same. Adaptation, taking a concept and bringing it to film. Should you follow that? There are scenes in that movie that are shot the same as the original anime. They are.
Yeah, but I agree that
but
right there
my
would be an
whole point
adaptation.
is-
But whether Scarlett Johansson was cast as a Japanese, versus casting an American versus Japanese, that's a separate conversation altogether. That's
that right there is, but that's what you're bringing up. You're actually bringing up a totally separate concept and a separate conversation. My whole conversation point was this: you take a film about Batman, about Superman, about Flash, Arrow, whoever it is in the DC universe, and I'm mostly pointing to DC because they have a tendency to go way the fuck out in left field with their characters and throw them like, where the fuck did that come from? And then they put it in the comic books and they're like, it's in the comic books, see? When you have that IP, do you want to follow it perfectly? Do you have to? Yes or no? His point,
No.
Brandon's point is, he wants to see that. I would like to see that, but at the same time, I don't mind them taking some certain liberties with any intellectual property.
All I hope, and this leads us to one more topic, is I really hope, which I think he will, I really hope Blade of the Immortal will be just like the manga, because it is my favorite manga of all time. I love the story. I love Manji. So I hope. Rob, how do you say the director's name? Because I'm not very good at pronouncing the...
Takashi Miike? Takashi...
You say it better than I would try to butcher it. Who directed 13 Assassins...
100 films, bro.
Yeah, so many.
Takashi Miike's directed 100 movies.
Yeah. And he is directing Blade of the Immortal, which is a manga and also had a small anime, but it was just like to DVD direct, and it was decent. But I love that story. And I really hope that he sticks close to the source material and makes it like the manga, because it is going to be batshit crazy.
But that, again, that's a big difference between adapting the manga and it's just when you open it, when you first open the manga to when you close it, it's just the movie made shot for shot.
Right. It doesn't have to be shot for shot, but I just wanted to make sure that... No, I don't want to make sure. I like it when it's at least close to it. The origin... maybe the first story or two in the book, and I'm cool with that. Like the Ninja Turtles, when those movies, the last one especially, Rocksteady and Bebop, it wasn't even like close to the book at all, and it didn't have that feel of brotherhood and the sense of those stories that I love being a TMNT fan. And so me loving a thing like Blade of the Immortal, where it's this troubled samurai who can't die until he's killed so many bad men. I think it's 100 or 1,000. It's been a while since I've read my book. Until he can rest, but he's just an asshole, and he's just whatever. He doesn't really care if he lives or die. It's just the great anti-hero book, and as long as he captures that, the essence of the manga, I'm okay with it. There can be different story or different characters or add-on or scenes. That's fine, but just the essence, the main source material that you love as a fan. You know, if he made Manji like some warlock and he can shoot laser beams out his fucking eyes, I'd fucking rage. But, you know, if it's a samurai wandering and taking care of this small ninja girl, that's fine. I get it. I'd be fine with it. So it doesn't have to be shot for shot, but I want it to be close to the essence of what me as a fan loves in those original books, origins, first series.
It's about tone, Brandon. I've said it a million times. Movies, stories are about tone. You want to get the tone down. Rich, any thoughts? Did you check out the trailer for Blade of the Immortal?
Dude, I watched or read everything that you had in your little deal, and holy shit, it blew my mind. Bushido Blade meets Ninja Scroll live action, bloody, fucking gory. I can't wait.
Have you seen 13 Assassins, Rich?
Yes, I love that fucking film, dude. I love that film.
Yeah, Takashi Miike also made Ichi the Killer. Pretty seminal moment in filmmaking history. Pretty dope stuff. So, moving right along, we're at the 40-minute mark. So let's move on to, guess what turned 25 years old? The Batman animated series. Oh, shit, dog. Look at that. So, in case you don't know, my first Comic-Con, I finally convinced my father to let me go after years of bugging him, was the 1992 San Diego Comic-Con. Which you remember every year I'd go, I'm going to convince my dad to let me go, and he would never let me go.
Yep.
That was the year I went. And when I was there, DC just had these booths, these long booths, these rows of booths, and they were all wearing suits. It was real weird. But they had a little TV set up, little CRT TV, and they were playing the pilot episode of the Batman animated series, which was the Man-Bat episode, and it was just running on a loop. And I didn't know they were making a Batman cartoon. And and I thought at first it was going to be like an adaptation or a continuation of the Tim Burton stuff, because Batman Returns had just come out that summer, and he was wearing blue and gray, and I was like, oh, this is more like the comic. At first I was like, I don't know, and then I was like, this is fucking cool. And the Batman animated series, well, that went on pretty strong for what, till like 98 or so, until the Justice League, right? And then it kind of became Team Up City. But the animated series, man. Rich, any thoughts on the Batman animated series? Have you heard of this? Do you remember this cartoon?
Well, do I remember that cartoon? Oh my god. I copied and pasted the entire article you're reading right now just to save it, because it's a really good read. If you get a chance, you should put a link for that up. It's a good read. Mark Hamill is, to me, the greatest fucking Joker ever. I used to try and do the Joker, and Roy Conrad has always been one of my favorite Batmans. I'm just
Kevin Conrad.
Or Kevin Conroy.
I know you get it mixed up with the guy who played Ben.
Yes,
I get that name.
do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. What's your favorite episode, though, Rich? If you could just name one, what's the one that stands out to you the most? Batman animated series. What's the one? Any thoughts? You can hold on to it. Brandon, your thoughts? Your favorite episode?
I like when this is probably, I think, season 5, when Batman and Robin gets kidnapped by the shit. I can't. Nope, I can't say my favorite one. I'm mixing up the spin-offs.
Okay, Brandon, you failed. Rich, can you remember your favorite episode?
Okay, so the problem is, there's two that in particular that I like, and Joker's Favor. I don't know if you remember which.
Is that where he gets a guy that it's like saves him, and then he, he's like the normal guy that he's like haunting? No?
I don't know what you're talking about. It's the 7th episode.
So one where that guy cuts him off, and he's like fucking around with the normal guy. It's the very first episode the Joker appeared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it is the very episode. Yeah. It's also the first appearance of Harley Quinn. So, and well, in any medium, it's her very first appearance at all.
I don't think Batman was really in that episode too.
No, he wasn't actually. And the other one is the Demon's Quest, and it's Ra's al Ghul is in that one. So,
my favorite is I don't remember which episode, but it's the scene where all the villains are talking about how they almost killed Batman, and then they go to Killer Croc, and he says, "I almost killed him with the rock." It was a really big rock. Like, that's it. It's a story. All the villains are looking at him like, it's kind of tough.
That's called dude. That's almost got him. Yeah. Almost got him.
That's my favorite episode.
Yeah, that was written by Paul Dini. Actually, that whole episode was. So.
That's my favorite, and my second favorite was the first episode when they relaunched the Batman animated series into the New Batman Adventures.
New Batman Adventures.
They switched the art style.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, and they did the Gotham Knights one where it was like 3 different short stories, but there's this shopping spree that Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy go on. And they just go around on the shopping spree robbing and fucking... It had very little to do with Batman, but I enjoyed that episode a lot.
I liked it when they switched up to that style more so than the other ones. And I'm pretty sure this was part of the whole animated series, but I watched so much Justice League and all the other stuff. Yeah, this was the Batman animated one where they had the actual Dark Knight Returns, where 3 kids are telling different stories about Batman.
Yeah, that was during the New Batman Adventures.
Okay, so then they have that look of the Dark Knight Returns with that whole painted background with the reds and everything, and it had that real gritty look. That would be my favorite one. But I've watched so much of that and Justice League and all those shows that I sometimes mix up. I'm like, wait, was that on?
They bleed
this one or
together
that
for
one?
you?
Yeah, a little bit, because I watch a lot of DC cartoons, a lot.
Shocking.
And, well, especially growing up, I watched so much of it, and I have.
Well, that's
all
where
the DVDs.
that's where DC excels, man. Is their animated films. It's where their best shit is.
Well,
I
Rob
remember,
doesn't
Rich,
like
the
new
first
ones.
time we were let down by this cartoon, was when Sub-Zero came out. That direct-to-video Sub-Zero cartoon. Not bad, but we were expecting some, like, Mask of the Phantasm level.
Dude, Mask of the Phantasm is probably my favorite, hands down. The music in that was just phenomenal.
Yeah, my only, like, gripe at the time was that cool CG opening that was all done in the, it was all the Gotham City, the Bruce Timm sort of art style, whatever, whoever did the backgrounds, that Art Deco art style. And I was like, man, if only this cartoon had that, more of that with the 2D characters, that would have been cool. But, I was one of those kids who could never just be happy, with what you got.
What?
It's like, man, they could have tried harder, fucking whatever. It's cool, But, yeah, Rich came out of Phantasm going, you gotta go see it. I'm like, I don't know, man. The animation didn't... I mean, I was already watching Akira and Ninja Scroll and shit, so I was like, I don't know about the animation. It doesn't look as good as I thought it would. But then I saw it because Rich said it was fucking awesome, and it was. It was awesome. So he was right about that. What else we got here? Got anything else? What do we got? We're at the 53-minute... Quickly... did you guys all watch Defenders? Do you want to end on that? Does that sound good? Rich, did you watch Defenders?
Yeah, it's fine.
No, I haven't watched the Defenders.
Oh, he hasn't
yet.
watched it yet. Okay.
No.
All right, so we'll skip that until Rich can watch Defenders. I'll talk about the Spawn Vault edition next time. So Rich will like this. Valiant. Let's go to Comic Watches. Talk a little comic books really quick, and then we'll wrap up with some toy stuff. So Comics Watch. So Valiant. Remember Valiant Comics? Remember them?
Yes.
They
I still have those. I still have those two aluminum foil covers.
Well, you'll be happy to know that Valiant announced the Ninjak Omnibus featuring Joe Quesada, Brian Hitch, and more. So they're gonna tie in the first 3 or 4 issues that Quesada drew, plus everything else ever made with Ninjak into one giant omnibus. And Rich will tell you, Ninjak was the fucking shit for us, right? Back in the day. Dude.
Back in the day, yeah, hell yeah. Ninjak was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I haven't read the new one.
He was Ninja.
Well, I like the fact that at the time Quesada was on his game, dude. This retro Quesada art is my fucking favorite shit, dude. The new shit he draws, as a fan, folks, as a professional, I respect it, but as a fan, and the Ninja.
When the fuck is Stephen Platt gonna come back, man?
He's been back.
Splat.
He doesn't draw like that anymore. He draws like Mobius. It's his thing now.
Yeah, he draws horrible.
Yeah, but it's hard to see here. But the Ninjak Quesada. Quesada worked in a ton of Alphonse Mucha backgrounds into Ninjak. He's one of the first guys to do it. Like Adam Hughes was doing a bit of that too. This background is based off an Alphonse Mucha, which is a Victorian Art Nouveau painter and illustrator, and then he's worked Ninjak in there, and he was doing this, all inside the actual fucking issue. Like if you look at the panels. And then when Quesada went to Marvel and started working in Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and Daredevil issues, he was bringing us back. But there was tons of design work in this comic that's pretty fucking awesome.
Ninjak was my fucking boy, dude. I love Ninjak. I totally was in.
Remember we used to read this with Valiant Vision glasses, Rich?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
It was all in 3D.
Yeah, that was a big thing. It would pop out the colors. It was this sort of clear 3D glasses that you'd put out, and red would pop forward.
You know what? It's all in 3D.
All right, Rich. So, Brandon, did you ever reach Ninjak? Was that your thing? Did you ever?
No, not at all. But I do. I love Joe Quesada when, he did Ash and when he went on to Daredevil. And I mean, I never saw Ninjak or really got into it, but same here with the X Factor stuff that he did. I loved all the things that he put in, the background design, all this stuff you said that it's called, but I saw it all in Daredevil when he do his pinups, and you got all the pane glass and the windows and just amazing details before he went to the very giant triangle style. He put
when Quesada drew Daredevil Father is when I, as a fan, went, well, I'm done. We're done here.
Yeah,
we can go home. So wasn't quite my thing. Rich, will you be up? I mean, I know it's not immediately a financial need for you, but if they collected the omnibus with the Quesada stuff and remastered the pages and stuff and it provided something new, would that be something? I personally would just like a black and white version of the Quesada issues. Personally, I don't really need the other.
You mean his original stuff or the newer? Yeah. Is it, well, I mean, as far as the omnibus, is it just rehashed, like they're just reprinting it, or
they're reprinting everything that's been done so far? So it's just, there's a lengthy amount of work. I'm not up on the new book, but I do like the old stuff.
Yeah, I would purchase it. Yeah, I would, actually.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
I mean, that's,
he was like a James Bond ninja, right? If I remember right.
I still have fucking, like, I think 7 or 8 episodes. The first 3 that were tinfoil, and the tinfoil, the foil covers.
The chromium.
There were tinfoils, the chromium tinfoil way back in the day. Yeah, I still have 3 or 4 of those. I think the first 3, maybe 4 episodes or issues of it, and they are signed. So I would definitely be interested in Omnibus if it's just reprinted, and hopefully it's in better color. I mean, is that what they're planning on doing with it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they're planning on doing in terms of recoloring. I kind of hope they don't. I like the original color. When they do these recolors, they tend to just add a lot of browns and airbrushing. So I'd rather they just keep the original the way it looked. So other than that, I don't have a toy box thing up yet, so I'll just leave that on. Really quickly, folks, I caught some interesting things. So here are some toys. I got to add this graphic. I forgot it. It's called Toy Box. But basically, I like all these expensive toys, but I can't afford them. So I just basically look at them through the internet. Or when we do occasionally go to a convention and they're fucking outright. Rich, we've been looking at expensive toys since we were kids, right? We couldn't afford.
Pretty friggin' much.
Thanks to McFarlane?
Pretty much. Thanks to McFarlane. Dude, all the fucking Star Wars figures that they have now, the super cool anime style Boba Fett and the fucking Darth Vader and all that, I want those
here's
so bad.
Here's one that caught my eye, right? Speaking of super expensive toys. This is a Toy Story Woody Zord. It's basically Megazord with Toy Story characters. It's got a pig leg and a Slinky Dog arm. They missed the mark, though. Look at that. It comes with all of them. No Buzz Lightyear glider pack. I thought the Buzz Lightyear with the wings would fucking be awesome if it had the wings in the back. But this is pretty dope. And they all transform into their Toy Story characters. They got to put this in Toy Story 4. This would be fucking amazing.
They're going to. They're going to.
Any thoughts on the Toy Story Woody Zord, Brandon? You're a big Mighty Morphin guy.
Oh, it's fucking awesome. It's Toy Story meets Power Rangers, Voltron. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculously awesome. Like, when you first told me about it, I was like, that's probably stupid. And then you showed me, I'm like, all right, that's kind of fucking cool. Like, it's just unique. So, as a person who, I don't have a lot of money, but occasionally when they're on sale, I'll buy a Pop or a Loyal Subjects figure. Yeah, Funko Pop, or for all my toy fans out there know who Loyal Subjects are, Hot Toys, Sideshow. Whenever there's those are on sale, like real cheap, I'll pick one up. Or if we're at a con in Vegas and, maybe I'll buy my wife like a Wonder Woman Funko Pop that's exclusive, whatever.
You can spend a little less on the cheap toys, Brandon.
I don't have them. I haven't bought. The only ones I bought were at Vegas were those couple of the Pops, and those are just, $10 each for my brother and my wife. But before that, I haven't bought one in a long time. I wish I had the money to get like the new Daredevil Hot Toys for the Netflix show. But to go back on that, I think it's cool. I like unique, oddball figurines like that. I think it's
well. Here's
it's
another
different.
one. Let's get your thought. Rich, any thoughts on the Woody Zord beyond that? Anything you want to add?
It's pretty cool. I'm not a Power Rangers fan, but I'm definitely a Voltron fan.
Speaking of
Fucking
Voltron,
awesome.
oh shit, dog! Look at this. It's a chibi Voltron that actually turns into little lions. It's a chibi. This is fucking high. It's super deformable, fully transformable. It's 5 Voltron lions with minifigures, includes shield.
See, I'd fucking buy that in a
This is
heartbeat.
fucking awesome, right? It's $150.
Yeah, that's cool.
Crazy.
Oh,
I'm matter of
it's not
fact,
that
I'm
awesome.
going to buy that right now.
Look at the
I wish
little
I
ones.
had.
You got little legs and shit. Look at the little legs. Look how awesome
Dude,
that
that's
is.
awesome.
I don't want
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Like this one caught me by surprise. I imagine his face probably goes right in the mouth and just probably plops right down. So pretty cool, huh?
That's great.
Yeah, I like the little legs.
Little chibi o Voltron.
King of Beasts Go Lion. And then also one last thing. Let me bring this up. This
cool.
was, speaking of minis, I was on this. This comes from Marvelous Toys. Guys, I don't get these things for free, so I'm not pimping them. This is chibi 80s style Ninja Turtles. But look at the sculpts on these. This is pretty dope. They're like the cartoon, the 80s cartoon, fully posable. But look at the faces. Those faces are great.
Yeah, those are funny.
Are they fully articulate?
Yeah,
or
they're
just
they're
posable?
pretty articulate. Yeah, they're fully articulate. Fully posable.
That's pretty fucking cool, dude.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of the 80s cartoon versions, but every now and then something comes out that's pretty good, and this is one of them. So I thought that was pretty dope. Awesome. All right, so other than that, is there anything else anyone wanted to bring up? Have we forgotten anything? Have we covered enough? Have we talked enough? Can we wait 2 more weeks to do this? I think we can. I think we can wait 2 more weeks. Brandon, where can people find
Yes,
you
sir.
on the internet and complain?
The best way to find me is Instagram or Facebook or Twitter at Lead Heavy, Lead Heavy.
And Cartman.
Well, you can find me, totally. You can totally find me at upskirtwonderwoman.com, because everything Wonder Woman, it's totally sweet. Super sweet.
We're going to have to talk about getting Aquaman on for a Wonder Woman review.
No.
Right? We're going to have to totally do that, I think. It's going to have to happen. All right, everybody.
Aquaman.
You can join me again here in about an hour or so, less than that even. I got to work on Star Wars. I got to work on the First Strike cover. So I'll be doing that all night. Be here all night, folks. That's what I'm going to do here. Otherwise, leave your comments below. If you have any questions or comments, I will answer them in future SketchCraft podcasts. That was it, folks. Good show. Good show, everybody. Good show. Pat yourself on the back. Golf clap, everybody. Say goodbye, everybody. Say
Yay.
goodbye.
Totally, yeah. I fucking love my job.
This is fun.
Keep talking, Manny. Keep talking.
SketchCraft, offending as many people as possible.